Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Bashem Rachak Wadash. My name is Yakaba from Plaintables camp. And you look up the land of Gog. It's looking at a map. It's referring to Russia. It's not referring to Turkey. All right, the land of Gog. All right. The land of Gog is Russia Major. All right. And the prophecy is in Ezekiel 38 tells you that the Russians are going to come down. They're going to destroy the land of Israel, and they're going to destroy the land of unwalled villages. All right. With their nuclear fire, with their army, and they're going to have allies with them. It says right here. 38 and 5, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them shield and helmet. And then different allies at the Russia, Gog, and the land of Magog, which means Magog means of Gog, or land of Magog, or land of Gog. The chief prince from Meshech and Tubal and prophesy against them. All right. Thou shalt descend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud over the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. All right. So according to prophecy, the Russians, all right, they possess the land of Gog. All right. They're the people there that have the power, that have the relationships with these countries, especially Persia. Today they're called Iran. All right, like today, the Russians are not called Gog and Magog. They're called Russia or Ruski. All right, now we go to the attack with the drones and the missiles. It says Iran threatens to attack Israel with. These are the Khazar, Edomites, Amalek, with weapons it has not used before as it gets military support from Russia. All right, so again, that will be an escalation. So it's unlikely that they're going to use those until, it could be, a skirmish, but the implantable microchip has to take place before. Or simultaneously, but that's going to precipitate a response, a heavy response, because the Western allies are going to back those Khazars up. All right. So prophecy is definitely linking up. Is a New York Times article that Microsoft has copied. As it gets military support from Russia. That links up exactly with Ezekiel 38th chapter. All right, Persia, Gog and Magog. Now, the original inhabitants of that land are not the Edomites, because the Russians are Edomites. They're Caucasian. All right, but they have a different. They have different allegiances and ideas. They're separate. All right. Now, one idea they do have that's the same is that in the mark. The whole world is going to transfer to that system. Let me read this article. It's very short. It says Iran is reportedly getting a terrifying arsenal from Russia, including anti-aircraft launchers and fighter jets, and is threatening to fire weapons it has never used before in a severe, extensive, and painful response to the slightest action by the so-called Jays. All right. Told the local news station Monday that the Islamic Republic will confront any Israeli aggression and respond to it. We are ready to use weapons that we have not used before, the official told Al Mayadeen News, according to the Economic Times. So, I'm sure they already have the weapons already. And They have to wait to the right time. All right, they can't just use the weapons because that's going to escalate the war beyond conventional means. If they start using hypersonics and all that, that's moving to a different stage. So if that happens, and there's like they hit something, they destroy something significant in the land of Israel, of those so-called Jays, then that'll move the West's hand closer to a third world war. So other things are going to be happening simultaneously. If that happens, if they up the type of missiles they're using, they just use conventional. From what I saw or heard, was just conventional missiles, whatever that may be, the actual technology. But they didn't use hypersonics because they wouldn't be able to shoot them down. So if they start going into that and then increasing the yield in the warhead, then we're moving into a different playing field. So if that happens, then we're going to see different things happening over with these Western countries and these other countries. Financial situation may get worse. There may be a T attack or a cyber attack in a Western country, in America and in Britain, France, or one of those NATO or European Union countries. All right, so if they do escalate, I believe other things are going to happen simultaneously. All right. Now, we look up the map here. All right, Gog, the land of Magog, is not in Turkey. Cappadocia is right here. We look certain things up, see Cappadocia is not Turkey. It's referring to basically between the Black and Caspian Sea and north. All right, that's the land of the land of Magog. All right. Now, the people that have the power in the land of Magog are the Russians. They call themselves Russia, Ruski. The Russia or Russian language. It's not talking about the someone that's ethnically different from Caucasians, just like the Western Europeans are, the ones that run the land anyway. All right, they're the same race. They just inhabit different lands. Like the beast inhabits the West. All right, which is Europe and United States, Canada. They work together in some way, shape, or form. All right, they make up the beast. All right. And you have specific countries that are on paper, but they all work together. All right. Remember, this is the devil. All right. They make up lies and they change the rules as they go. All right, but they're all working together. All right. And you have certain skirmishes, or not skirmishes, schisms among them. All right, obviously because they're gonna eventually turn against the whore, which is America. All right. And you have, so that's basically like the east against the west here. So this will be the land of Gog, or Magog. This is Magog. All right. And the allies, the main ally we're focusing here is Iran. All right, which would be Persia. All right. So that's Ezekiel 38. Magog, which is Russia. All right. And their allies, focusing on Iran. Then what, 2nd Ezra 16, I believe, talks about the dragons of Arabia. All right. So they're going to get help from the dragons. All right. They're going to fulfill their part. The scriptures speak about the wild boar out of the wood. All right. So you got Saudi Arabia is the biggest country, but you got Yemen, Oman, which Yemen been firing on their missiles, controlling certain cargo in the Red Sea. So they're active. So that's prophecy. All right, raging in wrath. All right, that's part of it. All right, and Saudi Arabia, I'm sure they're gonna start acting up, showing their colors that they're not really against with the West. They have a financial agreement with the oil. All right, you got Jordan, you got the mixed people in Syria, the Arabs amongst them, real Syrians and Israelites. Lebanon, you got Hezbollah up there. All right, they're Arabs. All right, dragons of Arabia. You got Arabs in Iraq. All right, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Emirates. All right, these are all they're somewhat neutral against the Khazars in Israel, all right, the Edomites in Israel, but eventually they're going to show their true allegiance, in due time, because the prophecy has to of that RFID implantable microchip has to come to pass. So when these nations start to show their true allegiances, there are going to be more events that are going to happen. Terrorist attacks, cyber attacks, problems with the money system, the economy, and these things are all going to mount up to the world's governments imposing the implant chip on their populations. All right, and then you'll have the third world war directly alongside of it, parallel. All right, this is so they're using weapons they never used before. Now they're threatening to take Russia's money, and they've been saying this for a year or two or three, a couple of years. They've been saying, let's seize Russian assets. It says European Central Bank fires back at plans to seize Russian assets. The confiscation of Moscow's frozen funds. So this would have happened, then we would move into another phase. All right. Then Russia would start. Well, we got to start doubling down on the world trade with the oil and the gas. They're still getting oil and gas, even though they say they're not. All right. It's through some different means. Selling it to another country and then they buying it from that country. We don't have the exact paperwork. All right. So this could, if they do this, it's going to move into another phase. And you're going to see more skirmishes, more. The scriptures talk about, Yahushua said, there shall be wars, actual wars, and rumors of wars, because they're actually at war. They're just doing it by proxy. Now you're getting direct attacks from Iran on the state of Israel, all right? Because the Israelis were attacking Iran indirectly. Now, the Iranians, so that's the president, all right? So there's going to be some back and forth there, and some mild escalations until something big happens, and then we'll move into a different phase. All right. So there's not going to be an all-out missile flying on both sides until, well, at least a nuclear war. There's not going to be a nuclear war until all the prophecies that are supposed to happen, mainly the RFID implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, comes to pass. All right, so we're just tracking, as we get the information and reporting it. All right. It says Washington. It says, I have seen 4 different schemes or proposals to circumvent what many other jurists and lawyers regard as very serious legal obstacle that can be constructed as a violation of legal international order. Lagarde. I don't know what that means. A former lawyer, that's a name, said, as quoted by the French Financial Times, moving from freezing the assets to confiscating them could entail breaking the international order that you want to protect, that you would want Russia to respect, she added. All right. Well, if you start going tit for tat, then it can get ugly. Western countries are going to start to suffer, because Russia has not been using its full power. Even though you got these that's propaganda out there saying, well, if Russia was so strong, why it take so long to defeat the Ukrainians? Well, they're not actually doing a full scale invasion on Ukraine. Ain't no useful idiots. They eat it up. Like Russia's not doing what the U.S. did to Iraq. They're not doing that. All right. If they did do that to Ukraine and Russia, they would. If Russia did that to Ukraine, there would be massive suffering. They're just attacking military targets. They're not attacking everything. The water systems, electrical systems in totality. They're not doing that. They're having a very light hand. All right. So these people want to see. They want to see the real power of Magog. Their power, because they are in prophecy in Ezekiel the 30th chapter. All right. And these people just spread misinformation purposely. All right. Oh, this new media war. You keep saying it, and they're allied with the media, the people, and they say, "Oh yeah, Russia's weak. They can't defeat small Ukraine." No. The reason why they're not defeated yet is because, first of all, prophecy. The Lord controls the Russians, just like He controls the. Scripture say what the king's heart is in the hand. Let me get that. He turneth it whatever He will. So the king's heart. Proverbs 25:3. The heaven. No. It's Proverbs 21:9. Wait a minute. The king's heart is in the hand, 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, Blashem Yahushai. As the rivers of water, He turneth it whithersoever He will. All right, so they're not in control of their own minds. They're being controlled by the spirits, as is written, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality and spiritual wickedness in high places. All right. So if the Israelis wanted to do all-out attack on Iran or Iran, they could, but they can't because they're being controlled by spirits. And that's why Russia has not totally annihilated the government of Zelensky, Ukraine, because it's not time. It's not that time. You still have to have prophecies to come to pass. The gospel still have to be preached. All right. There's things that Yahweh Shai is putting in place. All right. So you mess with the money, we're moving to a different phase. One of them is seizure, but another is collateralizing.
Collateralize.
Or even using the windfall profits or the interest from these assets to fund a loan, despite U.S. Treasury Secretary Wally said, as quoted by Reuters. The outlet reported earlier that the U.S. and its allies were considering using the interest due on frozen Russian assets as collateral for loans or bonds issued to help Ukraine. And that's how, that's demonic. That's evil. They put their money in there so they could do business around the world. And they say, well, since you're attacking someone that we don't like, we're gonna freeze your money, and then they're considering totally stealing it. It's not a just system. You put your money into like an international fund and say, we don't like what you're doing, so we're taking your money. How can a system last forever? This is not a righteous system. All right? They're doing this gray area game. It's by de facto, it's really already collateral. They already took it because they froze it. And for what they did freeze. All right. It says Washington and its allies have blocked some 300 billion Russian central bank assets due to sanctions adopted in response to the launch of Moscow's special military operation against Kiev in February 2022. All right. So, yeah, you mess with a man's money, hey. That's an easy way to start a war. There's a quote: "All wars are bankers' wars." So there's definitely going to be a third world war. All right. This is why Yahweh Shai manifests the prophets to warn you about these things that are about to come to pass, and you got to be secure. So when our governments come down on us, then we'll have the knowledge and the protection. Psalms 91. Though them that dwell in the secret place of the Most High should be under the shadow of the Almighty, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so the reason why you have to understand and know this information is so when the devil comes down on us, it's Revelation 12, having great wrath, because he knows if he have but a short time, we're protected by spiritual forces. Because no man can protect us. No amount of weapon, artillery, and knowledge and planning can protect you, save the knowledge and you being sealed by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? The knowledge of the prophecies, the law and the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's what's going to protect us, not any amount of weapon or money. That's why it's important to know these things and to know what prophecies are in play currently and what's about to happen, what prophecies are about to happen soon. All right, so I'll leave that there. Hope you edified. Shalom.